Hi, I'm Mahesh Jayaraman, acupressure therapist, health counselor and co-founder of Sepalika.com. The thyroid is a little butterfly-shaped gland that sits in your throat and produces thyroid hormone. Chances are, we all know someone who has problems with an underactive thyroid. We normally associate it with weight gain, with feeling lethargic and with hair loss. But there's a little secret that all of us should know. Every cell in the human body has a receptor for thyroid hormone. That's because all of them need thyroxine to do whatever their respective functions are. So irrespective of whether it's a heart cell that needs to beat, or it's a calf muscle that needs to tense and relax, or it's a liver cell that needs to detoxify the entire body, all of them need thyroxine to function properly. And therein lies the value of this secret. If something is needed by every single cell in the body, it makes sense that if it's in short supply, that could impact the functioning of pretty much any organ. So, if you have unexplained symptoms somewhere in your body and all of the regular tests have not revealed anything, testing properly for thyroid function and knowing how to interpret the results correctly could be crucial to ending years of suffering. I'm going to use two cases from my clinical practice to illustrate this. Too many people suffer for too long from undiagnosed thyroid symptoms. So if this video helps even a single person watching it get the right tests and find a cure, it would have all been worth it. The first case is of a woman in her 30s. She came to me with two problems, both of which her doctors had told her were all in her mind. For the last year, she was depressed most of the time and she had a burning sensation in her pelvic region that simply, no drugs could really fix. She had been prescribed the most serious painkillers, antidepressants and sleep medication, and even these weren't really helping anymore. After speaking to her in detail, I requested her to get certain additional thyroid lab tests. In my practice, I don't test for just the total T3, total T4 and TSH, which are the normal thyroid tests, but I ask for free T3 and free T4 levels. Anybody who is facing any kind of thyroid problems will know these terms from their lab reports. When the results came back for this particular woman, she was indeed a victim of low thyroid function. Well-meaning doctors who had measured only total T3 and T4 had not understood that hypothyroidism could produce these symptoms at even the so-called normal lab ranges, and they had missed it all. I sent her back to a different endocrinologist with the new results to get the thyroid support, and also suggested the dietary supplements that could help her thyroid function. She reported within just 15 days that her burning had disappeared, and by the end of the month, the depression had largely cleared up too. The second case that I'd like to mention is of a middle-aged man who was having serious sleep issues. He was under a lot of stress at work, and so he had assumed that this was a natural consequence. He had been given sleeping tablets, and while they helped for some time, they were leaving him really drowsy during the day and low on energy too. As is often the case with men, no one had asked him to do a proper thyroid panel in his lab tests. He had the basic total T3 and total T4 results, but I suspected that something was still wrong. And the reason I suspected this is because the outer 1/3 of his eyebrows had peeled off. Now, not many doctors use this physical examination as a serious diagnostic tool anymore. So this patient was quite surprised when I told him that I suspected poor thyroid function because he had lost nearly half of his eyebrows on the outer side. It's a symptom that is known as the sign of Hertog. Dr. Hertog was a MD who did pioneering work on how to recognize subclinical hypothyroid symptoms in the early 1900s. Once again, with this patient, once we tested for the right parameters in the lab and gave him the right thyroid supplements, his sleep and energy improved miraculously. So, when it comes to unexplained symptoms, educate yourself and be your own advocate. Using the hypothyroidism resources at Sepalika.com, including the list of 300 plus hypothyroid symptoms, you can find yourself a functional medicine practitioner to work with. We wish you vibrant health and well-being.